The fascinating thing about Joel is that he's not just a hero. He's not Batman in Arkham Asylum going around killing baddies. Yeah. He's a damaged man who's had to live through a lot, and so that guardedness comes from having to be very cold and dispassionate to survive in the world that's now created. I don't think even Joel himself really, he doesn't really have control of his emotions or make a decision as to the way to behave. He just finds himself in circumstance and he reacts emotionally in the way that a real person does, and that's why it's so fascinating to be part of that story, because it's real, it's rounded. The delightful thing for me in the game was when you're initially in the quarantine zone, you come around that first corner when you get outside and you see the two towers with one leaning on the other, which is kind of this amazing vista in the distance that you assume is just an incidental detail. And then when you actually get out into the first city, you're in that environment. And you get a sense very quickly of what the world's like. So there's a horrible moment where there's ration queue, and the rations aren't ready, so no one's eating those. But then there's a bit where some people get brought out of a building and lined up, and if you hang around for a bit, they do start executing them in full sight of you if you don't go around the corner. I can never relax in those moments where there is an opportunity to just explore and see and enjoy the detail. It's different when you play through again, but the first time you play through, you're just thinking there's going to be an infected in the attic upstairs. So you never really get to enjoy them until you've cleared the area. You can go back and wander around when you're confident there's nothing around. When you've just got runners, you can just beat them up. You can just slam them with shivs, or if you've got a metal pole with like a blade attached to it, you can take out 6 and that's fine. You walk around the corner and several times there's suddenly just a room full of all of them. And I was talking with a friend of mine about what it's like. The best analogy I can come up with, it's like the feeling that you get when you just suddenly discover that you're in a room full of all of the different infected. It's like if you farted in a lift and then moments later the door opens and the room fills and you just hope no one notices you farted. That's what it feels like when you walk around the corner and there's a room of them. You just kind of hope they don't know you've done it.
You can't deny the view, though.
Giraffes don't get infected, which wouldn't have had the same kind of impact, but would have also been interesting to see.
An infected giraffe?
Clicker giraffes.
Wow. I was about to say how incredibly moving and beautiful and poignant it was to kind of see that conflict of nature and destruction of the human environment, but actually I would have preferred to see clicker giraffes.
It could have been moving in a different way.
I didn't know I had that in me, but that would have been better.
It could have been moving in a very different way.
Yeah, no, touché. The reason The Last of Us is such an important game to me is it's the first game. You talk about immersive gameplay as a thing, and it never really rang true. Like, I was never really not aware I was playing a game, but The Last of Us is the first game that really truly did immerse me in a way that no game had. It's the really unsettling thing about the game, which no other game's done for me, is it truly made me think about myself and my decisions. And no other game's ever done that.